And Alexander Koblikov arrived at Volgograd railway station within minutes of the explosion. He told us what he saw there.
I approached the scene of the terrorist attack. There were more than 20 people lying on the ground around the train station, police and rescuers working at the site, ambulances. I think the blast was very powerful because 2 stories of the building were affected. People who were there when the explosive device went off said that all people standing around were killed. It was just a normal day. It was very common, people entering the station, leaving the station, walking around with children. I think there were over 200 people at the station and around the station, maybe 200 or 300 people. After the bus explosion, people here were quite careful. Considering that it's a holiday season, I think people got relaxed, and unfortunately, this is another terrorist attack coming again.
And live now to Mark Sleboda, senior lecturer and researcher in international relations and security studies at Moscow State University. Mr. Sleboda, welcome to RT International. 2 terrorist acts in 2 days in Russia's south. How do you expect security to be ramped up there?
Well, thank you for having me. Certainly, security has been in a heightened condition regarding the threat of terrorist attacks for the last year as we approach a countdown to the Sochi Olympic Games. The federal services of Russia have already announced that they have stopped quite a large number of terrorist incidents throughout the last year and are constantly reporting on a number of militants they have killed. However, this obviously it only takes one to get through, and this is what we've seen most recently in Pyatigorsk and now in Volgograd.
The blast reportedly occurred at the entrance of the station where there's heavy security. Why do you think the terminal was a target there?
The terminal, mass transport, has always been a target of these Islamic terrorist attacks in Russia. We've seen several terrorist attacks on trains previously, as well as metro stations within Moscow over the last decade plus. I think they calculate this as it is extremely disruptive to the fabric of Russian society. It creates a true atmosphere of terror when any average citizen can be affected who uses public transportation, which is the majority of the population.
If it is proved that it was a female suicide bomber, it will be the second such attack on Volgograd since October. Why is the city in focus?
Well, Volgograd is a principal focus simply because it's an easy and close target to the south of the Caucasus. Just yesterday, the Russian security services reported that a principal aide to the self-styled Emir of the Caucasus, Doku Umarov, a principal aide of his, Islam Atiev, was killed in Dagestan by security forces after a siege of his house. It is suspected that he then blew himself up rather than accept capture. I think we can look at this attack today as far more than likely a very rapid reaction revenge attack for the killing of this aide of Doku Umarov's.
Once again, who's likely to be the driving force of the terror threats there?
The terrorist threats are a loosely based coalition that is often called the Islamic Caliphate, that is centered around Doku Umarov, who has taken over several years ago of the larger Chechen Caucasus terrorist groups. Doku Umarov has taken these groups in a much more strictly Islamic fundamentalist action than ever has been before. They have largely been displaced from Chechnya itself due to security measures there over the last decade. But they still exist in the fringes, in the hills of Dagestan around, and have support from outside the country. They operate regularly in Turkey, in Saudi Arabia, and they keep getting support, which keeps them going despite their small numbers.
What do you think needs to be done to prevent such attacks in the future?
That's a complicated question, and I don't think any government in the world has quite recognized how to stop terrorism, particularly terrorism inspired by fundamentalist visions of Islam. This is especially more difficult in Russia because it is a homegrown terrorist, albeit one from a very restricted southern area of the country. I think the combination of what has worked best in Chechnya, which is a combination of large amounts of federal aid to restart the economy, restart employment, cooperation with local moderate Sufi Islamic mosques and institutions, along with a firm hand of security such as Ramzan Kadyrov has shown in Chechnya. I think this model needs to be extended as well to Dagestan and Ingushetia, and this is the best chance of combating a problem that has no easy solution.
As well as security forces, does the public play a role in trying to make cities more secure?
If we're talking the general public, such as in Volgograd, where the terrorist incidents happen, no, I don't think that a heightened state of citizen alert can really help matters there. What can help is within the Islamic majority republics of the Russian Federation, such as Dagestan and Ingushetia. If the citizenry can be brought closer to the government, and the best way to do this is with showing concern for them. Education programs, bringing employment, jobs, economy. If you give the citizens of this region where unemployment is rife and anti-government sentiment is high, if you give them a reason to support the state that they are citizens of, that will be the best way for to see a reduction in such incidents of terrorism from within the citizenry themselves.
Mark Sleboda, Senior Lecturer and Researcher in International Relations and Security Studies at Moscow State University. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.
And a reminder of the breaking news on RT International from southern Russia. Up to 18 people have died and dozens more wounded in an explosion at the main railway station in the city of Volgograd. Police suspect that a female suicide bomber detonated a device near the metal detectors at the station entrance. Eyewitnesses describe a very powerful blast. They also claim the bomber carried the device as luggage. It's the same city which suffered terrorism in October when a female suicide bomber blew herself up on a bus in the same city, killing 6 and injuring 37 others. Stay with RT International for more developments on the deadly tragedy at Volgograd railway station, which has killed 18 people. And you can also get the latest at rt.com or by following us on Twitter.